Hi there, we're live. Welcome to today's reading. Today's reading is going to be from chapter 3 in the 1937 classic Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's called Auto Suggestion, the Medium for Influencing the Subconscious Mind, the Third Step to Riches. Before I start in this chapter, I have a bonus reading. Um, Talks about Charles M. Schwab's idea about influencing Andrew Carnegie and the United States Steel Corporation, an idea worth, I think it was $100 million, and they sold U.S. Steel for over $600 million. So it was basically a $500 million profit. But it shares the story of it in one page before going on to the chat on auto suggestion. So I want to read it to you here for now. It's pretty amazing how one idea can change into $600 million. Not an insignificant um, sum of money for one single idea. Think about it. And remember, when you're ready to bargain for life, remember, faith removes limitations. The corporation, after having been brought into legal existence, were incidental, but careful analysis will disclose the fact that the appraised value of the properties acquired by this corporation increased in value by an estimated $600 million by the mere transaction, which consolidated them under one management. In other words, Charles M. Schwab's idea, plus the faith which he conveyed to the minds of J.P. Morgan and the others, was marketed for a profit of approximately $600 million. Not an insignificant sum for a single idea. What happened to some of those who took their share of the millions of dollars of profit made by this transaction is a matter of which we're not now concerned. The important feature of this astounding achievement is that it serves as an unquestionable evidence of the soundness of the philosophy described in this book, because this philosophy was the warp and the woof of the entire transaction. Moreover, the practicability of the philosophy has been established by the fact that the United States Steel Corporation prospered and became one of the richest and most powerful corporations in America, employing thousands of people, developing new uses for steel, and opening new markets, thus proving that the $600 million in profit which the Schwab idea produced was earned. Riches begin in the form of thought. The amount is limited only by the person in whose mind the thought is put into motion. Faith removes limitations. Remember this when you're ready to bargain with life for whatever it is that you ask as your price for having passed this way. Remember also that the man who created the United States Steel Corporation was practically unknown at the time. He was merely Andrew Carnegie's Man Friday until he gave birth to his famous idea. After that, he quickly rose to a position of power, fame, and riches. And he rose, like all great achievers, on the wings of faith, which can be created by a powerful force known as autosuggestion. And that brings us to the chapter on autosuggestion. Chapter 3, autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. This third step to riches. And this power of the autosuggestion connects to all the other principles of the philosophy, of the Think and Grow Rich philosophy. You have to utilize autosuggestion in carrying out instructions with persistence, with desire and faith. Read this chapter over and over again until you become thoroughly convinced that this chapter, the principle of autosuggestion, can work for you in your accumulation of riches or whatever it is that you desire in life. Autosuggestion is a term which applies to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli which reach one's mind through the five senses. Stated in another way, autosuggestion and self-suggestion is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. The dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind, whether these thoughts be negative or positive, is immaterial. Will reach the influence of the subconscious mind through the law of autosuggestion. No thought, whether it be negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion. with the exception of those thoughts picked up as flashes of insight or inspiration. Stated differently, all senses impressions which are perceived through the five senses are captured and processed by the conscious thinking mind and may be either passed on to the subconscious mind or rejected at will. The conscious faculty serves, therefore, as an outer guard at the approach to the subconscious. Nature has so wired human beings that they have absolute control over the material which reaches the subconscious mind through the five senses. Although this is not meant to be construed as a statement that individuals always exercises control. In the great majority of instances, they do not exercise it, which explains why so many people go through life in poverty. Recall what has been said about the subconscious mind resembling a fertile garden in which weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds or more desirable crops are not sown therein. Autosuggestion is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his or her subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature, or by neglect, permit thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into the rich garden of the mind. You're instructed in the last of the six action steps described in Chapter 1 to read aloud twice daily the written statement of your desire for money and to see and feel yourself already in possession of the money. By following these instructions, you communicate the object your desire directly to your subconscious mind in a spirit of absolute faith. Through repetition of this procedure, you voluntarily create thought habits which are favorable to your efforts to transmute desire into its monetary equivalent. The procedure is not restricted to monetary gain alone. It can be used to help you achieve whatever it is that you want, strongly desire, so long as it does not violate the laws of God or rights of others. Go back to the six action steps described in Chapter 1 and read them again very carefully before you proceed further. Then skip ahead for a moment and read very carefully the four instructions for the organization of your mastermind group, which are described in Chapter 6 on organized planning. By comparing these two sets of instructions with those that will be stated in this chapter on autosuggestion, you'll see that all these instructions involve the application of the law of autosuggestion. Remember, therefore, when reading aloud the statement of your desire, through which you're endeavoring to develop a money consciousness or any other success consciousness, that the mere reading of the words is no consequence unless you mix emotion or feeling with your words. If you repeat a million times the famous Emile Coué formula day by day in every way, I'm getting better and better, without mixed emotion or faith or feeling, you'll experience no desirable results. Your subconscious mind recognizes and acts only upon thoughts which have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. This is a fact of such importance as to warrant repetition in practically every chapter of this book, because the lack of understanding of this truth is the main reason why the majority of people who try to apply the law of autosuggestion get no desirable results. Plain, unemotional words do not influence the subconscious mind. You'll get no appreciable results until you learn to reach your subconscious mind with thoughts or spoken words which have been well emotionalized with belief. Do not become discouraged if you cannot control and direct your emotions the first time you try to do so. Remember, there is no such possibility as something for nothing. The ability to reach and influence your subconscious mind has its price, and you must pay that price. You cannot cheat even if you desire to do so. The price of ability to influence your subconscious mind is everlasting persistence. In applying the principles described here, you cannot develop the desired ability for a lower price. You and you alone must decide whether or not the reward for which you're striving, the money consciousness, is worth the price you must pay for it in effort. It's your choice. Choose wealth. Wisdom and cleverness alone will not attract and retain money, and except in a few rare instances where the law of averages favor the attraction of money through such means. However, the method of attracting money described here does not depend on the law of averages. Moreover, the method plays no favorites. It will work for one person as effectively as it will for another. Where failure is experienced, it is the individual, not the method, which has failed. If you try and fail, make another effort, and still another until you succeed. Your ability to use the law of autosuggestion will depend very largely upon your capacity to concentrate upon a given desire until that desire becomes a burning obsession. When you begin to carry out the instructions in connection with the 6 action steps described in Chapter 1, it will be necessary for you to make use of the principle of concentration. Let us here offer suggestions for the effective use of concentration. When you begin to carry out the first of the 6 actions, which instructs you to fix in your own mind the exact money you desire, hold your thoughts on that amount of money by concentration or fixation of attention with your eyes closed until you can actually see the physical appearance of the money. Do this at least once each day as you go through these exercises. Follow the instructions given in Chapter 2 on faith and see yourself actually in possession of the money. Here's the most significant fact. The subconscious mind takes any orders given in a spirit of absolute faith and acts upon those orders, although the orders often have to be presented over and over again through repetition before they're interpreted by the subconscious mind. Consider the possibility of playing a perfectly legitimate trick on your subconscious mind by making it believe, because you believe it, that you must have the amount of money you are visualizing. That this money is already awaiting your claim, that the subconscious mind must hand over to you practical plans for acquiring the money which is yours. Hand over the thoughts suggested in the preceding paragraph to your imagination and see what your imagination can or will do to create practical plans for the accumulation of money through transmutation of your desire. Do not wait for a definite plan through which you intend to exchange services or merchandise in return for the money you are visualizing, but begin at once to see yourself in possession of the money, demanding and expecting meanwhile that your subconscious mind will hand over the plan or plans you need. Be on an alert for these plans, and when they appear, put them into action immediately. When the plans appear, they will probably flash into your mind through the sixth sense in the form of an inspiration. The inspiration may be considered a direct telegram or message from infinite intelligence. Treat it with respect and act upon it as soon as you receive it. Failures to do this will be fatal to your success. In the fourth of the 6 action steps, you are instructed to create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once to put this plan into action. You should follow this instruction in the manner described in the preceding paragraph. Do not trust your reason when creating your plan for accumulating money through the transmutation of desires. Your reason is faulty. Moreover, your reasoning faculty may be lazy if you depend entirely upon it to serve you. It may disappoint you. When visualizing with closed eyes the money you intend to accumulate, see yourself rendering the service or delivering the merchandise you intend to give in return for this money. This is important. Summary of instructions. The fact that you're reading this book is an indication that you earnestly seek knowledge. It is also an indication that you are a student of the subject. If you're only a student, there's a chance you may learn much that you did not know, but you'll learn only by assuming an attitude of humility. If you choose to follow some of the instructions but neglect or refuse to follow others, you'll fail. To get satisfactory results, you must follow all instructions in the spirit of faith. The instructions given in connection with the 6 action steps in Chapter 1 will now be summarized and blended with the principles covered by this chapter. If your definite chief aim involves the money and attainment of wealth, first, go into some quiet spot, preferably in bed at night, where you'll not be disturbed or interrupted. Close your eyes and repeat aloud so you may hear your own words the written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit for its accumulation, and a description of the service or merchandise you intend to give in return for this money. As you carry out these instructions, this is very important. See yourself already in possession of the money. Visualize yourself already in possession of it, the desire. For example, suppose that you intend to accumulate $500,000 by the 1st of January 5 years hence, that you intend to give personal services in return for the money in the capacity of a sales representative. Your written statement or purpose should be similar to the following. By the first day of January, I will have in my possession $500,000, which will come to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. In return for this money, I'll give the most efficient service in which I am capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service and the capacity of selling. Describe the service or merchandise you intend to sell. I believe I will have this money in my possession. My faith is so strong that I can now see this money before my eyes. I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me at this time in the proportion that I will deliver the service I intend to render in return for it. I am awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. Second, repeat this program night and morning until you can clearly visualize in your imagination the money you intend to accumulate. Third, place a written copy of your statement where you can see it night and morning and read it just before retiring and upon arising until it has been memorized. This is very important. Remember, as you carry out these instructions, that you're applying the law of autosuggestion for the purpose of giving orders to your subconscious mind. Remember that these instructions apply particularly to the desire for money, but also to any other object you desire or goal you seek. Remember also that your subconscious mind will act only upon instructions which are emotionalized and handed over to it with feeling. Faith is the strongest and most productive of the emotions. Follow the instructions given in chapter 2 on faith, the visualization and the belief in the attainment of desire. These instructions may at first seem abstract. Do not let this disturb you. Follow the instructions no matter how abstract or impractical they may at first appear to be. The time will soon come, if you do as you've been instructed, in spirit as well as in fact, when a whole new universe of power will unfold to you. Skepticism in connection with all new ideas is characteristic of all human beings. But if you follow the instructions outlined, your skepticism will soon be replaced by belief, and this in turn will soon become crystallized into absolute faith. Then you will have arrived at the point where you may truly say, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. Many philosophers have made the statement that each person is the master of his or her own earthly destiny, but most of them have failed to say why this is so. The reason that may be the master of his own earthly status, and especially our financial status, is thoroughly explained in this chapter. We may become the master of ourselves and of our environment because we have the power to influence our own subconscious mind, and through it to gain the cooperation of infinite intelligence. The chapter you're now reading represents the keystone in the arch of the Think and Grow Rich philosophy. The instructions contained in this chapter must be understood and applied with persistence if you're to succeed in transmitting desire into money or any other result you seek. The actual performance of transmitting desire into money involves the use of autosuggestion as an agency by which you may reach and influence the subconscious mind. The other principles are simply tools with which to apply autosuggestion. Keep this thought in mind, and you'll at all times be conscious of the important part that the law of autosuggestion is to play in your efforts to accumulate money through the methods described in this book. Carry out these instructions as though you were a small child. Inject into your efforts something of the faith of a child. Have childlike enthusiasm. I have been most careful to see that no impractical instructions are included because of my sincere desire to be helpful. After you've read the entire book, come back to this chapter and follow in spirit and in action this instruction. This is important. Read this entire chapter aloud once every night until you become thoroughly convinced that this principle of autosuggestion is sound and that will accomplish for you all that has been claimed for it. As you read, underscore with a pencil every sentence which you impresses you favorably. Follow the foregoing instructions to the letter, and it'll open the way for a complete understanding and mastery of all the principles of success, including the one to which we now turn, specialized knowledge, the fourth step to riches. And this chapter on autosuggestion ends with this following quote, I believe that close association with one who refuses to compromise with circumstances he or she does not like is an asset that can never be measured in the terms of money. So it means you want to associate with positive, upbeat, successful people. Energy is contagious. And that is a chapter on auto-suggestion, the third step to riches, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. Again, go over this chapter again and again with a pencil or pen. Underline the key sentences that make an impression on you, and know that this chapter can work miracles in your life. And through auto-suggestion, it can create riches for you in your life. Thank you. The next chapter I'm going to be reading is on the subconscious mind, the connecting link, the 11th step to riches. See you in a bit. Thanks.